Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams, and our focus this morning has been on the Mitchell Park Domes, a unique treasure here in Milwaukee that allows us all to explore one of the wonderful wonders of our city. My guest this morning has been Mr. Peter Lepkowski. He is not only in charge of marketing, but he's also a manager here at the Domes.
Welcome to the Area Dome.
Thank you.
Very
I'm so
unique
excited.
structure.
And
Right.
it's kind of weird, I'll say off the top. The show dome was much warmer, and I expected the desert dome to be a little more warm, let's
Right.
say.
And what people don't realize, it gets very cold in the desert at night. I think we all think of it as hot.
Yeah.
You know, and it's uncomfortable all the time, but really it isn't. It does get very cold at night. So you will see this when you come in, you get a little bit idea about it and know a little bit about how the desert works around the world and what they're like. And speaking of, what do I see here? Marion from one of our horticultural staff could probably fill you in a little bit about it, as she is in charge of this particular dome.
I love that.
Well, hi guys.
Marion.
Nice
Sorry
to see
to
you.
interrupt you working, but I mean, what better person to ask than someone who is really responsible for keeping all these things intact and dealing with the temperatures and the watering and all those things. So really tell us what goes into keeping these domes in tip-top shape.
Well, it's basically every aspect of gardening that you would do outside, except it's a little different, and it's with stuff that you definitely can't grow in Wisconsin.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff we would see in Madagascar,
All around
South
the world.
America. Yeah, so you really have to know your stuff in maintaining a large array of cacti.
Right. Cacti and succulents, that's the main game in here. And you kind of have to make up some things as you go along, like when a cactus is over your head and you have to prune it.
Wow.
You gotta just cut and run, basically. So it's a lot of creativity, and climbing up hillsides and weeding between cactus and rocks, and it's like adventure gardening. That's kind of how I put it.
That's a great way to describe it. And one thing I remember as a kid, Peter, you may remember this too, and I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but cacti, they store water in the trunk, so that's why they don't really need a lot of water, right?
Exactly. Yep. And they look all fat because that's basically all plant tissue that stores water. So you can't actually cut into it and have like a fountain of water come out, which some people think barrel cactus is full of a barrel of water, but actually it's kind of like jelly in the middle. It's very interesting.
It is very interesting. So is there anything else that we need to know as we make our way through the Desert Dome that people at home can remember when they come to the domes?
Well, currently the star of the show is our agave plant. We have several species of agave in here, but this particular one decided that it wants to bloom now. So I just came in one day and it started to look like a little stalk of asparagus, and basically every day this stalk is getting taller and taller. So hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll get a nice top of flowers on it.
That is wonderful. And so people can come through. He said, look, it's starting to bloom. So people can really learn about different parts of the desert. This is divided into the old world and the new world, am I correct?
Yes.
And so what is the old world versus the new world?
Well, old world is Africa, Madagascar, Canary Islands.
Okay.
And then the new world is North America and Mexico, which is kind of the area we're in right now. And also South America.
Okay.
As you kind of make your way around, you'll see that with the
Okay.
hairy old man cactus and stuff.
Why don't we take a walk together? Why don't we take a walk together and then
I can hang out with you guys.
See
And so
what this-
anything that we need to know about, please feel free to point it out. I'm very interested in knowing more about what we're doing. Now, as we do make our way around, you guys do have education programming that you offer to not only school-age children, but also to adults, adult groups, college students,
Correct.
all of that.
Correct.
So if somebody is like into maybe studying horticulture, did I say that right? Horticulture. Then they most certainly would want to spend a little time here and kind of get a feel for things.
Definitely.
We do have classes come in here that even people on their own through classes they're taking, and what they do is they come here and do private education here.
Okay.
And it's nothing like seeing it up front. what they're studying or the plants. So it makes it kind of interesting.
Right.
And we have many school kids that come through here too with groups with their education center. So it's a great education program. And throughout the year, we do have different events that we have solely for education.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice that the kids get to learn a little bit about like a hands-on, if you will, education.
And I can't help but notice this beauty right in the center of things.
Oh,
What are we
yes,
looking at there?
The yellow and
Yeah,
orange, or
yeah.
yellow and green. That is, it's actually, it looks like an agave, but it's called a furcrea, which is a mouthful, but it's, it's related to agaves, related to lilies, actually. They're all in the same family.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to
And how
imagine.
long does it take to get to that size?
That one, we don't even know how old it is. I would
Wow.
guess it's several decades old. I mean, different species grow faster than others. But
And so what is the temperature? What is the normal temperature that you would keep the desert
That's an
on?
interesting topic because in the winter we keep it cooler in here than you would
Okay.
expect. I mean, sometimes people come in here
Expecting
and
to
they're thinking
sweat.
it's going to be like the Sahara, yeah. But in the winter we actually keep it about 60, 65 degrees in the day and 55 at night.
Okay.
And that's how we get the jade plants to bloom.
Aha,
And
the
a lot of
jade
the other
plants.
aloes and plants will bloom only when the temperature drops in the winter.
Okay.
So they get winter rest.
So they really are going through the normal cycle that
Yep.
they would in their normal habitat.
Yep, this dome is a very seasonal dome. It's not like the tropical, which is kind of consistent throughout the year. So you get different bloom times, different things leafing out, losing leaves.
And that's
really
your job
cool.
to pick those up as they fall.
yeah.
And speaking of seasonal, I mean, you've kind of decorated
Right.
some of
We add a
the.
little Christmassy to it, which is very creative that way.
Very
no matter what, there's a
creative.
season, we'll try to incorporate that as we can into the
Yeah,
desert
I
as
was
a little
saying,
touch.
I felt kind of like an elf today. You just caught me on the right day.
I love it, and everything. It's kind of interesting how everything has its own unique distinction to it, but it all kind of needs that same type of atmosphere in order to thrive.
Right, right. And some of them could go colder, some of the cacti could go below freezing.
Wow.
But then some things like the jade plants and then the Madagascar plants definitely can't freeze. So that we have to kind of pick that happy medium.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to have this sort of atmosphere right in the center of
Right.
Wisconsin.
Well, and it makes it so nice because we have such transition from this to the tropical, as you saw on the show, then with the tropical we're going to look at. So we have that variety here. It's
Yeah.
just amazing.
It's definitely a variety, and it is a little airy in here. I really am one of those people that thought I was going to come in and start sweating above the brow just a little, but it's a little airy. But I'm always cold, so it would feel wonderful
Right.
to those Wisconsin natives.
yes.
Trust me. So
Very
I
true.
think we should make our way over
Let's do
to the Tropic Dome,
Let's
and
do
I'm
that.
interested to see if that's going to be a little warmer or not.
I will be. I'm
So
sure it will be.
Let's take a hike over there.
All right,
let's go,
let's
guys.
go.
And so we finally made our way over to the Tropical
Right.
Dome, and I'll just say right off the bat for people at home, the temperature has changed.
Right. A little
It's
more humid,
warmer.
a little more
It's
humid. This should be your
humid.
kind of weather, warm.
No, I
And
don't.
humid? No?
Women don't like humidity because of
Okay.
our hair, but
Okay.
but this is nice when it's
Right.
freezing cold outside.
Absolutely.
This is really a nice transition.
It's like being in the Caribbean, but I don't have to take a trip to go there.
Yeah.
It's a
You can
nice
be back home
way
in a
to
matter of
envision
hours.
yourself here. Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
when we talk about the Tropical Dome, when you think of the tropics, there are like some 15 million different species
Correct.
of plants that are all over the world. And you've
Correct.
done an outstanding job here at the domes in incorporating some of those tropical plants and flowers right here.
Absolutely, and these are collections, and they're from around the world that you get an opportunity to see these plants that you normally wouldn't see otherwise unless you would visit those tropical regions. So here it's a great way to get a little understanding of these plants and to see something you might have seen if you're traveling through the tropics.
Yeah. And
if
some
we
of the
work
things
there, we
I
can
was,
work our
was
way
going
through
to say,
here. It's a nice pathway here.
this right here, these are like hostas.
That's
so
correct.
these are things that we actually can incorporate in our own
That's
yards
correct.
during the summertime.
That's correct. Here's our Christmas little bit
But
in there with
a lot
things
of
that, a little touch there.
nice things. So we have macadamia nut.
That's correct. This
Really?
is a macadamia tree. Isn't it amazing? The macadamia,
Amazing.
it is. It's amazing. We have it grows to 40 feet, as you can see here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's amazing. And it takes about 10 years to produce, I understand, in quality, the nuts in quality.
Wow.
So it's quite the time frame. So it's interesting that and the history of that
Absolutely. And then you've got a beautiful waterfall over there.
That's correct. We're going to work our way to that.
We'll make
I'm going to show you.
I mean, you hear it, and it's very calming
very
in itself.
calming, and it's a very relaxing. We have a lot of people that even come here on a Sunday morning, and this is kind of like their religion, just to relax, take in nature. It's a very nice experience that you have.
There are places for people to kind of like have a book and
exactly
really sit down
like
and
over
relax.
Here, you can sit over here, but very nice over here and overlook this. Now, if you take a look here, wouldn't you think that you were in the Caribbean or some kind of tropical destination?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I just
beautiful
landed in Jamaica.
There you go. Right. So
It
for
is
a few minutes, you're out of
absolutely
that cold and out of reality for a couple minutes. So, but yes, it's a beautiful structure here.
It
with
really
this
is. And for
maintained.
anyone who's never really had the opportunity to come to the domes, it really is something special to take in, and then you walk away learning something that you may not have known
Exactly
when you first
right.
got here.
Exactly right. It's an educational experience that you can learn by studying these plants, especially if people are interested in plants, because, like I say many times, you don't have the opportunity to actually see some of these species unless you were traveling abroad or into these tropical regions.
I'm
So
just
it's a
looking
really
over
nice-
there. There's ginger,
That's correct.
which is pretty awesome as well. I mean, there's a little bit
Beautiful.
of everything
That is
here
correct.
in the tropical dome.
Right.
And we're getting closer and closer to the waterfall.
Yes.
But I think you were telling me earlier that there's a banana tree
Yes,
here?
there is. Right over here, you're going to come over here.
Oh,
with
we're
the
making our way
bananas,
over
you'll
to the
see.
banana tree.
Right, so it's
Oh,
kind
I
of.
see them.
Yep. You see, there it is. Yep.
Yep, yep.
Right by the waterfall here.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, it
With
is.
these, and-
So do you find during the warmer months you have a lot of insects that are able to
It
make
is
their
controlled.
ways in?
Well, it is controlled. So there's a control system in place for that. So it makes it very nice. So for the visitors, it's a comfortable place to be
Yeah.
in, and yet it's a controlled environment.
Yeah.
So what makes it nice about when you think about it in tropics, no mosquitoes.
Right. Or
So it
any
makes for a
other
very
unidentifiable
right.
insects.
So it makes it a very nice, pleasant experience, I guess. This is the waterfall, a
Yes.
30-foot waterfall here.
Absolutely
Isn't that
beautiful.
With
Yes,
that,
and there's
a
some
very popular
visitors
spot.
here
Yep.
who are taking in the scenes.
Absolutely.
And
Getting out of the cold, right?
Yeah.
Taking a little bit.
Beautiful.
And this is fish here, if you could look, if they're out there a little bit. And this is a beautiful here in the side that we have too, that we display.
So there
it's a
are
beautiful
fish.
pond. There are fish. I don't know where they. There they are. They're coming
Oh,
out
I
just
see.
for us.
Are those koi?
Yes, they're coming out. There they go.
I
Oh, see, he's welcoming us.
Hi. Happy holidays.
There they go. See. But yes, this is probably the most popular spot is the waterfall.
Yeah.
When we take pictures for proms, weddings, and so forth. You can imagine, especially in the winter, the
And that brings
opportunity
out a
to
good
come
point
up.
too. This is the domes. People can actually rent it out for different events that they're
That is correct.
having,
You can have
including
absolutely.
weddings.
Exactly. You can private for weddings, corporate events, and anything of that nature. And also, it's interesting too, even for photos that people come here for their weddings during the day. And like I say, for proms or for other events that you have, the settings they use is really beautiful.
Well,
it's a
Peter,
natural setting, you know.
It is, to say beautiful is an understatement. So I just really appreciate you taking out the time to talk to us about one of Milwaukee's beautiful landmarks. And if people at home have never taken the time out to come to the domes, this is their invitation, right?
I mean, where are you going to go to have this kind of different environments and to experience it firsthand?
Yes, and
You know,
it's
like you
so peaceful and relaxing.
Right.
You can't ask for anything more than that,
Right.
especially if you're dealing with the winter
Right.
blues. So
We're glad
I
to
thank
have you here.
Thank you so
I'm glad
much.
you enjoyed it.
Peter Lepkowski is in charge of marketing and managing here at the Mitchell Park Domes. And again, I appreciate
We
your
look forward to
time.
seeing everyone.
And that is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I do thank you for watching, and we do hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.